All right, traders, here we go with the watch list video for Friday, December 28th. Um, it's been bizarre out there. If you weren't there today, I'm showing you the SPY. You can see a continuation of that big bounce yesterday. At one point, the Dow Jones was down over 600 points, and we closed up over 200 in the green. So it was just a crazy, crazy day. But I still say the action lately is good because when the market's in a free fall, it's very tough to call anything, but now that the bulls have kind of taken a pretty good stand here, I don't care if the SPY finds a new range and chops around in it. I still say once that happens, we can correctly trade the morning gap plays and so on. But it's whenever the market's in a free fall, you can't really do anything. Now I have another somewhat small list for Friday. But I'm going to start off by showing you, I always brag about my equity curve. I'm basically sitting very, very close to highs for 2018. So I want to show you a trade that went wrong today because there's actually probably more of a lesson in a trade that didn't work than one that did. I didn't mind losing the money that I lost in the trade because I don't feel like I did anything wrong. Right? I thought it was a good setup. I get mad at myself if I break some rules and lose money because I feel like, wow, I thought I was past the point of losing discipline, which happened to me a week ago or so, right? I had that really stupid trade and I broke a lot of rules and I was mad at myself, but this one is a little different. So let me show it to you. It's MRIN and 5-minute candle. So if you weren't in chat today, this was my absolute favorite setup. It's my favorite chart coming into, let's go back to the daily real quick. My favorite chart coming into the day because you had this massive move, then a couple red days, declining volume. So this is my number one watch for the day, right? So now let's scroll over to about 20 minutes into the session. It bumps its head on $7 like twice. There's the opening 5-minute candle. There's the next one. Then it sells off. Next thing you know, it's right back up there again. So my thinking is, in a trade like this, on a stock like this, that you got some short sucked in. When this thing, as a matter of fact, there was a refresh seller at 7 in that second 5-minute candle. Just it looked like they were offering out 300 shares or something, but then volume just poured in. It was just a total refresh seller there, and then it tanks. So for me, when this next thing I know, it's right back up, I'm thinking we're going to get a squeeze here, right? Because I figured more shorts came in when it couldn't break 7. More shorts came in. So anyway, when it gets back up, I call this through 7, right? I love this over 7. Pretty good volume, biggest volume stick of the day, right? It breaks 7. I take a smidge off the table at 7.10, just in case it doesn't break. But usually I'll scale out into strength and so on. But usually I'll take a good sized chunk to make sure that I have what I call a can't lose trade, as you guys know, right? In this case, I just took a smidge off to kind of pay for the trade. And I'm literally planning on selling the rest up here near 8, right? I'm thinking this is going to be biggest trade of the Christmas season for me and so on. And these are 5-minute candles. So it went to 7.12. And next thing you know, it starts to come back down. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to 1s to show you that time of day so you can kind of see better what it did. All right, so here we go. So you see that volume. So there's a 7 break. I sold some at 7.10. And then next thing you know, this is the very next minute. The bottom of this candle is 676. I had to dump all of mine at the market because my thinking was, okay, this breaks 7. We're going to squeeze. And then when it started to roll over, that's a huge warning sign to me, right? I mean, it was just a very clean setup. Everything I looked for, my favorite stock coming into today. And it just rolled right back over. So I tried to sell some like 695, 690, 685, and I just wasn't getting filled on anything. So I just screw it, hit out at the market. And remember, I had most of my position. And I got filled at 679. And ready for this? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 or 5. 6, 7 minutes later, it's all the way up at 7:30. Ends up going up to almost 8. So it's just a matter of timing it wrong, I guess you could say. I really thought once we broke that high of day, plus a whole number inflection point break, plus a recent high flyer after 2 days down, plus the flush here, right? So more shorts piling in. I thought I had the big one right here. And then it did all this without me, and I'm actually nicely red in the trade. So that was a little bit aggravating. Anyway, we did not get an afternoon. The early run occurred over the first hour and a half or so, right? These are 15-minute candles I'm showing you. And as you guys know, my favorite entry on a bounce play, especially a bounce play, one of the bounce plays that's really strong and has pulled back for a few days, my favorite entry is a high of day break out of a tight range in the afternoon. So I did put this one back on the list going into tomorrow, MRIN. I also have Watt on the list, massive volume today, 40 million shares, closing way off its highs though. That makes me like this a lot less, but I still want to watch it. I'm going to show you, Wayne and I were both on the microphone if you were not in chat today, talking about Watt, how it had topped out right at a half number. Topped out at 750, looked like it was rolling over, little bounce and right back down. Looks like, so again, sucking shorts in, right? Shorts probably getting short below 7, especially the second round below 7. And next thing you know, it's right back up and hits 750. It hit 750 to the number here. We called this on. I was actually on the mic if you weren't there today, doing the lunchtime Q&A. It's like the second time in the past couple of weeks that I've taken a trade during the lunchtime Q&A. I did get long on the 750 break right there, and we got to move all the way to 950. I left some on the table, but that was a nice little rebound trade from the debacle that I had in MRIN. Anyway, this goes back on watch for tomorrow. So we've got MRIN and Watt are two that I'm watching. Again, I don't really like the way this closed well off its highs. CDXC was really strong 4 sessions ago, and it's rolled back up. After pulling back, it's right back up to the highs from a few sessions ago. So big move today, though. But still, I want to keep that one on watch. It's really holding up well after that pop it had 4 days ago. ANY, this one, I didn't think I'd have it on watch again for a year or two because it's just pretty much, it was a great trader back here. Then it round trip. But today it actually, and Patrick in our chat room actually pointed it out. I tweeted a screenshot of this. He pointed it out when it looked like this, like get ready for ANY or something. It had a beautiful pop here, little intraday cup and handle, big seller at 70. So I loved this over 70. And Patrick is what put it on my radar. And look what happens. But again, that's the thing I love about the chat room. The teamwork in there is fantastic. So if Patrick is not on your hot script list, so you get an audible alert when he posts something, he should be. That was a great post. I mean, out of the blue, ANY, and then you get this huge rip. It ended up giving a lot of it back, but because of that kind of move, there's nothing really pretty about the daily chart, but I do like the volume and that pop it gave. So we're going to put it back on watch. Again, I'm not really in love with the daily chart. QTT had this big breakout. Let's see, what's today? Thursday. So this would have been on Wednesday, and then you have this quiet inside day today. Definitely want to watch that for a possible third day play. BTAI, big volume for this stock, still only 2.7 million, but big volume for this stock and closed fairly strong. I actually had you can kind of picture a trend line right here, right? It just popped and then flagged all day. So I do have this on long watch for tomorrow. See if it gets some follow through volume. A few more, a couple more actually. MICT had this big gap up here and actually held up pretty well and gapped up again right into the 200 day. Then you got 1, 2, 3 red days in a row. Volume's dying down. I do want to watch this for a turn back up tomorrow. We'll see if we get a proper setup. And then UXIN has been one of the strongest stocks on the planet. Now we've got a couple big red days. So, if it's going to bounce, I certainly like it down here more than chasing it up here. So it's going to go on bounce watch for tomorrow. And that's it. That's my entire list. We'll see everybody in chat tomorrow. Real quick, if you're not a member, I do want to say this real quick. We've got a whole bunch of new students that bought our course on this Christmas special. There's like 4 days left in the year, and our course will never be under 1,000 again. So I don't like to sell anything in these videos, but I don't want anybody to let the year end if you are considering it, because it's going to be considerably higher after the first of the year, and we'll never be $9.99 again. So we've had tons of students take our class, and we've got nothing but very, very high accolades. And honestly, I'm still proud of this. I'm going to keep saying it until I get an email saying, hey, your course sucks. We have not gotten one negative email, one negative comment about the course. And we've been selling it since 2016. So Wayne and I literally sat down together in the early summer of 2016. I believe that's when it was, and said, hey, how can we put pen to paper and create a course that literally shows everything we do to be consistently profitable? And you are learning from 2 consistently profitable traders. You'll never see us post huge losses online, not because we never have losing trades, but we do never have huge losses because we don't gamble. We'll actually teach you how to pull money from the market on a regular basis, and it is not done by gambling. There's guys running services, selling courses out there that trade huge and make these massive bets, and sometimes you'll see them lose six figures in a day. And I always contend that they do that because if they can get a big six-figure gain in a day or a five-figure gain in a day, and they can tweet that right from their trading account. Look at my profit. You can see here it's on my E-Trade account or whatever, right? That it doesn't matter that they're gambling. All they need is that one shot, that one screenshot of a huge one-day gain, and most traders will flock to them and join their service because they think somehow that huge gain is something that they can replicate if they take this person's course. I don't gamble. Day trading is how I make a living, and I will never be able to do that if I gamble. So everything we teach and everything we do is based on methodology, low risk entries, scaling out once you're in a trade, and so on. It is all meant to grind the account higher and keep you safe along the way. All right, I'm absolutely done babbling. See everybody in chat tomorrow.